on, I don't want to fly off into space. This was very expensive. Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Last time we got a bunch of contracts, and one of them was particularly ambitious. So it wants us to explore Duna. We haven't even hardly gotten the guy on the moon already, and we got to send someone to Duna. Although, if you read carefully, you don't have to send anyone. You just have to achieve orbit, transmit science data, land, transmit science data. And then you get a whole bundle of funds. And here is the vessel I hope will take me there. After I do the mission, I'll do a more in-depth kind of look at how I made this and how it's designed. But just to give you a brief rundown, I got a bunch of science stuff. I have a probe core in there underneath these, solar panels, a battery, an antenna so we can transmit some data, and a whole bunch of rockets to get me there. And it only costs 64,400 funds. Here we are, on the first mission to another planet. Are you ready, probe core? Are you ready? And 3, 2, 1, go! We have liftoff! Goodbye, cruel world! This probe core is not coming back, so... you know, this is the last he's ever gonna smell of the air. Goodbye, SRBs! Ooh, look, you can see both moons in the sky. That's a cool shot. I'm gonna screenshot that. Flying into the sun! That's another cool shot. This mission is all about cool photography. Who even cares if we go to Duna? Almost out of fuel! Goodbye, helpful boosters! I don't know, wibbling wobbling all over. Alright, that's orbit, that's good enough. This red planet, that's Duna. Set that as target. I may have made a little mistake. When you launch, your planet has to be in the right spot relative to where you're going for you to save on fuel. And Duna being here and Kerbin being here is not right. It's not right at all. What you want is, let's say the sun is the center of a clock. Put Kerbin at about 3 o'clock or so. I think you want Duna at about 1:30, like here. So I kind of launched, probably 6 months before I should have. But I'll make it work. I can't go back now. So what we're going to do is break orbit. If you want to break orbit to go to Duna, you want to end up orbiting the sun faster than Kerbin. Because if you're going faster, remember, your orbit goes farther away from the source of gravity, in this case, the sun. And if you're going further away, that's closer to Duna. So if you scroll out, you can kind of see the orbit of Kerbin, this line. We want our escape trajectory going in that direction. Kind of play with the maneuver node. It looks like I should start burning about there. Gotta burn about that much. So let's break orbit, and then we'll mess with maneuver nodes and try to get an actual encounter. Alright. What just happened was everything crashed. Luckily, I don't think I lost any of the recording. So we're back. We're back, and I will edit this out, and you will be none the wiser. Oh, except my maneuver nodes are gone. Huh. Alright, here we are, about at the maneuver node. Time to burn! Why is it slithering through space? Just about out. Next stage. Behold the tiny, more efficient, yet thrustless orbital engine. So because the game crashed in between there, I had to redo the maneuver node, so this new node kind of takes me past the moon. But we'll have to find out what's really going to happen after we escape Kerbin's sphere of influence. Alright, fairly nearly done with the maneuver node. And close enough. When it turns green, it means you're like within a couple %. So that's good enough. And yes? No? No? It still doesn't think we're breaking orbit. Okay, more of a boost. Okay, now it thinks we're breaking orbit. Okay, good. So, we want to go here, to Duna. If I were to give us a maneuver node and just have them go prograde until we get our orbit out to where Duna is, look, we're going to be here, and Duna is going to be all the way up here. So that's not going to work. So what I have to do, I kind of have to take the maneuver node and place it later and later and later and see how the two arrows are getting closer together. At some point, they will be very close together. Oh, now I'm not quite far enough out. Need to burn a little more prograde. Adjust. Oh, you see that? Bam! Sphere of influence. I will encounter Duna in a year and a half. That's quite a ways away. But So be it. Space travel takes a while. Alright, here we are, kind of by the maneuver node. So, I'm going to burn! While it's burning, so I want to do the science. Here. Thought I had more science. Ah yes, science hidden under the parachutes. Temperature, and a pressure scan. Okay, I stuck this here because we don't really have to save it. We're going to transmit and then let it go. But I'm going to need to keep it, at least for now. So, atmospheric pressure scan while in space high over the sun. Instrument reads 0, it's like it's in a vacuum. Material study, it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Transmit, I'm going to transmit this data. You see, you don't get as much science, but you get something. And while I was talking, I burned too far. And we lost our encounter! What happened? Alright, a little bit more maneuver node fiddling, and I got us our encounter back. 14,000 kilometers off the surface. Sometimes you have to mess with the maneuver nodes a couple of times, especially faraway missions, because you get little errors and they build up and they build up. And as those errors build up, they cause bigger errors and bigger errors. And Duna's a small place, really, really far away. Kind of need to be really exact, and I'm not good enough at that, so I have to fiddle. Alright, one way to get an even closer encounter, I'm down to 14,500 kilometers, is to fix these ascending-descending nodes. And you fix a descending node, I think, by burning north. Line up a bit north, and I'm going to start burning, and I'm going to watch my periapsis. And just watch that periapsis drop. Wow, look at it. 3, 2, 1, 800, 500,000 meters, 50, 90,000 meters, wow. 29,000 meters, that's in the atmosphere. Alright, we're just gonna leave it there. Getting closer, closer, closer. Okay, now what's it say? Now it says periapsis 29,000, and I'm coming in over the South Pole. If I burn north a little bit, I bet I could get that encounter to be more slam into the surfacey. Yeah, there we go. A direct hit! Now I don't actually want a direct hit. I kinda want to come in east. So I burn 90 until I'm still gonna hit it. Still gonna hit it. Still gonna hit it. Alright. Periapsis is now visible. Unfortunately, I think 30,000 is way, way too high. So we want to lower that by burning retrograde again. Oh, a little too far. It's delicate. Gotta be delicate on the old rocket controls. Alright, facing east. Now let's gently. Okay, 7. 7's probably too close to the surface. 11. We'll go with 11. Why not? And now that we're in the sphere of influence, we can do science high over Duna. See, there it is. There's Duna in the background, and the moon Ike. Ike is its moon. Alright, observe materials bay. And we can transmit. Mystery goo. The goo feels right at home here. Temperature scan. Air pressure. Now let's fast forward. Get a little closer to the planet. Whoa! Okay, a known glitch just happened. Sometimes when you're fast forwarding to a planet, it doesn't slow you down. It just leaves you warping. So we are now flying away. Very, very quickly. So we're gonna have to fix this very, very quickly. Slow down, rocket. I did not anticipate this. Come on, I don't want to fly up into space. This was very expensive. That's a cool shot. And we're still gonna fly away? Stupid time warp. Time warp always screwing me up. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we're fine. We're not going to go flying off into space. Alright, adjust your trajectory at apoapsis. This is a whole bag of failure. That's what this is. I'm still too high. 20,000 meters. Alright, now we've achieved an actual orbit, and just for doing that, we have completed this parameter. Achieve orbit around Duna. So we get 30 grand for that. That's always good. Unfortunately, we're still not landing. Whole bag of failure. You know, this has never happened in an actual mission. NASA's never like, oh, we just missed. Let's go around and try it again. Of course, anytime there's a mistake, it's generally not something that they can fix. It's either land or crash or miss and it, I don't know, hits the sun or something. Let's try this again. 15, 12, 13. Why not? Why not indeed? Okay, this time we'll time warp in a little slower. Okay, and I won't try speeding it up. Behold, the red planet. We are not pointing in the right direction for this. You see, I put these little fins on. You might have seen those at the beginning. I thought, why did he put fins on the front of the rocket? That's kind of dumb. Well, they're little fins. And now, they're fins on the back of the rocket, helping us slow down as we re-enter the atmosphere. See? Gotta think ahead. Always think ahead. Now these are stabilizing fins. We're gonna hit the atmosphere at some point here. Oh, there it is. 50,000. Okay, it's at 50,000. We're coming in! Hey, where'd all the stars go? We're still coasting in quite peacefully, I must say. Not a lot going on yet. We're like a gentle missile, gliding peacefully to a crash on the surface. Okay, you see these? These are temperature markers. I learned what those are. If you see those, hit F10. It turns them off. Apparently there's a glitch, and when they're on, you get a memory leak, and eventually your RAM usage builds up to 3.5 gigs, and the game crashes. So just turn those off. Alright, we're slowing down. Not a lot of fire effects. Did those go away somehow? Is this glitching out on me? It probably is. Oh well, we're committed now. It's not like I can revert. Now that we're close to the surface, let's do some more science. Seriously, I think there's supposed to be more fire effects and such. I don't know what's going on. But at least the fins are keeping us nice and stable. Okay, I think we're low enough. Okay, material study flying at Duna. Save all these. And use the rocket to slow us down. I think we're below the altitude of that mountain over there. Uh-oh, out. We're out. Don't even need that. And parachutes. Didn't even need the heat shield. Imagine that. So I have a lot of parachutes on this light little thing because Duna doesn't have a lot of atmosphere, so you need a lot of parachute to slow down. But it also doesn't have as much gravity, so you don't need as much parachute to slow down. I figured better safe than sorry. And just in case this amount of parachute wasn't enough, I gave myself this tiny little landing engine and a tiny little fuel tank. So at the moments right before crash down, I can at least... Whoa. Well, there's the ground. I can at least slow our descent a little bit. Let me get these to open a bit more. Oh, I think we lost textures? No? Oh, there's a texture. Okay. We're coming in. All the parachutes are open. What a peaceful landing. Peacefully towards the surface. Where's the shadow? There it is. Oh, it's right below us. That's helpful. We're landing at high noon. Okay, we're almost there. Almost there. Let me start up this landing engine to slow our descent. Slow our descent. Oh, too far. Slow to too far. Whoa. Okay, go back down. Go back down. Oh, that was some trippy parachute action. Okay, and touchdown! We made it! And nobody died, or even crashed. Land on Duna, 75,000. Complete. Now we know what we gotta do. We gotta finish off all the science and transmit. Transmit. Get our money. We'll get paid. Its massive red eye seems to be at home here as it slowly ominously blinks. Interesting. You observe the goo. That was much less interesting. Thank you for that. There's actually a mod that gives you more interesting science data. So look into that. The atmosphere is pretty thin, even at the surface. You don't think parachutes or wings would work very well here. But they did! The parachutes kind of worked. What else do I need? Temperature? I need temperature. Where's the temperature? Why did I hide all these things under parachutes? Okay, collected and recorded temperature. Fascinating. So I got all this stuff recorded. Even if you save it all, there's a fast way to transmit. So right-click on the comm device, transmit all data. But we're going to run into a slight problem here. We don't have enough battery power to transmit all the data. We do have solar panels, but they don't recharge quite fast enough. So I'm just going to time warp ahead until we get it all. So much data to transmit. Done! It's done! We got all of our data. We got all of our data and all of our money, 375,000, plus all the other bonuses we got. Huzzah! We made it! We made it on this little rocket and even has a little bit of fuel left. Imagine that. Huh. That might come in handy at some point in the future. And back to the Space Center! And we're back with 583 science and almost 750,000 funds. That is where I want to be. Let's see what contracts we got now. Plant flag on Duna. You know what that means? I know what that means. That means we gotta send a guy there. Yeah, let's send a guy there. Click! Return to Kerbal from orbit of Duna. Okay, we can do that when we get the guy there. And science data from the surface of the moon. I bet I can do that one real quick. Okay, here's why it's always good to leave a probe or something on the surface. Because if you get a mission that says return something data from the surface, you can go back to your crashed probe from earlier, get the science, transmit it, and bing, done! Free 50,000 funds. Remember that. What are we going to spend our glorious points on? Oh, we can't. We can't. We have to unlock that. I don't need plane parts. Fancy new landing legs, big heat shield, yes. Have to unlock. What? That's like half our money. Aw. Well, gotta spend money to make money, I guess I said once. Docking port, very important. Probably want those. Bigger fuel. Little rocket engines. Big rocket. Yes, must have big rocket. Big pods. Look, you can fit multiple people in this pod. We need that pod. And now the long, hard choice of what to unlock. Bigger fuel tanks. Why not? Quick decision. Ooh, now we can unlock these next. These are awesome. Absolutely awesome. I'll explain why later, when we actually unlock them. Alright, spent all our science, spent some of our money, and next time, what do you think we should do? We can finish the orbital station. I'll probably have to do that anyway, no matter what. Just gotta gas it up. Just has to gas it up, really. Build a new service outpost on the moon. Send a guy to Duna, and do a bunch of these. That'll be a very, very valuable mission. Probably gonna need some of the people from the orbital station, though. What should we do? What should we do? Do you want to know how to put a satellite in equatorial orbit? Let me know in the comments below, and I will do one of them, or some of them, next time. Alright, so now that we know that mission was a success, let's take a look at the actual craft that I built. To start with, it launches all of these solid rocket boosters, and I'm just going to go ahead and take those off, because you know what solid rocket boosters are. You know what they do. They just kind of help me get off the ground a bit. Then I had these 3 engines going, and again I did the asparagus staging or cross-flow staging where all 3 engines were burning, but only from the outer tanks, because these fuel lines pumped the fuel from the outer tanks to this inner tank. And they released and went bye-bye, and then it was just this single engine, and this engine actually didn't have enough power to lift this up off the ground, but at that point I was already in orbit, so it was kind of just a helper. Then I ejected that. Then I had this little orbital efficiency type engine, which got me all the way to Duna. You know, it got me out, it got my maneuvers adjusted. It doesn't have very much thrust, but again, I was already flying through space, so it doesn't really matter. Efficiency matters. Efficiency when you're in space. Or that burned through this tank, and then I had these 2 Science Juniors that I used up before landing. And I used them and I transmitted the data, and Science Juniors are useless after you transmit the data. So I ejected those with the tank, because I don't need them anymore. Bye-bye! And then I was planning on actually having kind of a faster re-entry than I did. So I had this heat shield to help me. And while that was burning off, I was hoping these little fins back here would help prevent another rocket flip-around disaster. So they kind of helped keep me stable, which I guess they sort of did. It did sort of work. But I didn't even need the heat shield. And then my plan was, coming in for a landing, these 5 parachutes, while those slowed me down, I wasn't certain that they would actually slow me down enough. So I had this little extra tank and this little extra engine, the Spark, to help me out when I was going to touch down on these nice nifty little legs, which worked quite nicely. They worked quite nicely. And then I have, of course, transmitters. I have one there, one over here, and I have 2 of them kind of for redundancy. It's always a good idea to have more than one of each part, just in case you come into the atmosphere sideways or something and it burns one of them up. And then, of course, little battery under there, some science stuff, barometer and the temperature gauge, and solar panels to keep it charged. So yeah, there's the mission. That is the rocket that I used for this. Hope you like this rocket. It was certainly fun to make. And it was a success. I did not fail. Kind of. I mean, Fraps crashed a bunch. And, I almost flew right past the planet and back out into space. But other than that, it was a success. Yay! Alright, we're back at our makeshift space station for one last question. Someone asked, how do you get into IVA mode? That's this one, where you're inside the rocket. And it's the one thing I didn't mention, I think, during my previous camera angles thingy. There are 2 ways to do it. You either hover over their icon here and click IVA, which gets you in, but now you're stuck. See, there's no more icon in the corner to look at. Or hit the C key. C toggles in and out when you are looking at the rocket. And then when you're in IVA mode, you hit V and it shifts to the next guy. See, the more you hit V, the more it shifts to different Kerbals. So you can see all 3 Kerbals viewpoints in a seizure-inducing quick flash. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments and I will answer them in the next video. And thank you everybody for all of your kind words. It's really, really helpful. It really helps me stay motivated and want to make more Kerbal Space Program. I mean, beyond the fact that this game is amazing and I want to play it forever. So yeah, please leave a comment and a like and And subscribe, I guess, if you haven't. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye! Slow descent. What, too far? Slow to too far. Oh, okay, go back down. Go back down. Oh, that was some trippy parachute action.